We are going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a moment of silence, please? Roll call.
Council President Chamberlain.
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith.
Here.
Councilor Tiarina.
Here.
Councilor Simon.
Here.
Councilor Schneider.
Here.
Councilor Stickley.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. And under item 5, we need a motion to move into a public hearing.
I'd make a motion to move into a public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Chamberlain, seconded by Councilor Galbraith, to move into a public hearing. Any discussion? Councilor Chamberlain.
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith.
Yes.
Councilor Tiarina.
Yes.
Councilor Simon.
Yes.
Councilor Schneider.
Yes.
Councilor Stickley.
Yep.
6 yeas, 0 nay, motion is carried.
Okay, I'm just going to address the audience and council under agenda 5. This is a public hearing under the Wauseon Charter Section 11.01 for the question on the removal of a public official for cause. Due to a conflict precluding Tom McWaters or members of his firm from participating in this matter, the city has appointed Attorney Robert Omer to serve as acting law director. As this question is one under the charter, he will describe the rules that will govern this process and go on with the proceedings. Ms. Boda?
Mayor, can I have a moment, please? Can we just get on with this? Is that okay with you?
We have to follow the process
It's all
that's
right.
in our charter. No, it's
already
not.
been, you know, the dirty laundry has been aired long enough. So let's just vote and
I'm
move forward.
gonna ask you to sit down because we as council, the council has to go through this process that is written in our charter. We can't just
Yeah, we can
not do
vote.
it.
I was president of council, we can vote. I need 4 votes.
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think
we
so.
can. I need 4 votes
It's
to
not fair to
stay.
the public that we don't go through the hearing.
It's okay
Carol.
with the public. Anybody opposed to that? Yeah. You want to go through a public hearing? How many don't? Yeah, there you go.
I would like to go through the public hearing, which is written, and this is how we are supposed to do this process, Harold. I'm sorry if you want to rush through it, but I think
I
we
just want
have
to get
to.
a vote and then I'm
I
outta
understand
here.
you'll get your vote at the end, but,
I
I
wanna
mean,
get
it's
out of
only
here.
fair to everybody who has come in and to yourself to have a say in this, so I'm going to
All right.
deny fast forwarding and go through the process.
So
that
when it is, I would
the
like
city
to
charter-
ask my fellow council members their vote.
You'll get
to
the
go or
choice.
stay.
You'll get that chance.
All right.
You will get that
Go ahead.
chance. Okay, Bob.
Yes, this is a hearing brought pursuant to Section 11.01 of the Wauseon Charter. The section of the charter that deals with removal of officials, including elected officials, is found there. This hearing must be conducted in strict compliance with that section, and the requirements include Section 11.01A, that elected officials and members of boards and commissions shall be removed for cause, as provided in this section of the charter. Secondly, 11.01C of the charter requires that the charging official, in this case the mayor, upon having reason to believe there is probable cause for the removal of an elected official, shall give notice of the alleged cause or causes for removal to the affected individual by personal service, certified mail, or by leaving a copy at their known address within Wauseon. In this case, Mr. Stickley was served by personal service by a police officer on January 6, 2026. Mr. Stickley, do you agree with that?
What date?
January 6, 2026.
I don't know the date, but Nathan served me, so I know that's true.
But you did receive personal service?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. A copy of the notice is provided for inclusion in the minutes of this meeting, and although members of council may have received copies, if another copy is needed, I do have additional copies. This notice was published on the 26th of January. Pursuant to the notice delivered to Mr. Stickley, today's meeting is the time and place for the hearing required by Section 11.01 of the Charter. The cause provided by the notice is for determination under Section 11.01(c)(2) of the Charter for determination that Mr. Stickley, as the accused person, is guilty of any of the following: malfeasance, misfeasance, or nonfeasance in office. In this matter, the notice provided the following as grounds: engaged in conduct constituting sexual harassment, that such conduct had the effect of interfering with the work performance of city employees, and that his conduct created a hostile and abusive work environment. The procedures that are in place today and need to be strictly adhered to are as follows. First, Mayor Huner, as the presiding official of this meeting, is charged with impartially overseeing these proceedings. Her role is during the evidence, making sure the testimony relates only to those matters found in the notice. Second, council members other than Mr. Stickley are the sole judges of qualifications of and grounds for removal of office pursuant to Section 11.01(c). This means that Mr. Stickley cannot take part in the deliberations or the vote in this matter. Third, each person brought forward as a witness shall have an oath administered. Fourth, the only topics appropriate for discussion today relate to the allegations in the charging letter, as those are the only items that appropriate notice has been provided to Mr. Stickley. Any extraneous matters are appropriately ruled out of order. As acting law director today, I will call witnesses relating to the facts and circumstances provided in the notice letter. After I've completed questions of each witness, Mr. Stickley shall have the opportunity to ask questions relating to the alleged conduct. After all witnesses that I call are complete, Mr. Stickley will have the option to call witnesses, including himself, to give any testimony relating only to the events found in the notice letter. Any witness called on behalf of Mr. Stickley, including himself, will be subject to questions from me and would also be under oath. At the conclusion of testimony, upon motion made as follows: motion to remove Councilman Harold Stickley for cause under Wauseon Charter Section 11.01 may be made at the discretion of any council member. Upon second and after council comments by the members permitted to vote, if any, which would be pursuant to Section 11.01, again exclude Mr. Stickley, the matter is subject to a vote. A yes vote to such motion would be for removal, a no vote would be for non-removal. A 3/4% of those eligible to vote is required for removal. Any less than that shall be insufficient to pass the motion. Any questions from any members of council on the procedures? Mr. Stickley, any questions on what I've said? I know you're part of council, but I want to make sure you...
No, I don't have any questions, Bob.
Okay. First person that I will ask to step forward is Sarah Heising. We have a seat up here. You can stand there or take a seat, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I'd probably rather stand, if that's okay.
By charter, I have to administer an oath. If you can raise your right hand. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or as punishable by perjury.
Okay, I'll try to get through all that.
No, you can just say I do. You can just say I do.
Okay, I do. Thank you.
For the record we're taking, can you please state your name and your current position?
Sarah Sunshine Heising. I'm just a member of the public at this time.
Okay. Do you know Harold Stickley?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Mr. Stickley?
We served on council for about 4 years.
Okay. I'm going to just take you quickly to the winter of 2023. Did you have any interactions that might not be deemed appropriate with Mr. Stickley?
Yes, I did. There was an evening just such as this one. It was just before 5 o'clock. The meeting starts at 5. And I was sitting between Mr. Stickley and Mr. Chamberlain at that time. That was what our seating arrangements were. And I was waiting for the meeting to begin, and I found myself in a conversation, kind of in the middle of a conversation that I did not care to be a part of. I plugged my ears and loudly said, "I don't want to hear this, la 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 la," because it was not appropriate. And I was trying to make it really clear that it was not okay. But the part that I heard before I got out of my seat to walk away was Mr. Stickley giving Mr. Chamberlain bedroom advice, we'll just say. And he asked him, "What is your wife's name?" Mr. Chamberlain stated what his wife's name was, and I didn't really think it was going in this direction, but he He told him if he wanted to get better action in the bedroom with his wife, that he should call out my name while they're in the act, and that he would get better action. And I was disgusted. Felt like it was very degrading. It was not said to me, it was said through me. I mean, I was right in the middle of the conversation, and I didn't really have time to leave the room because the meeting was getting ready to start, and so I couldn't really walk away. I just got out of my seat and kind of just walked toward the back of the room. And after the meeting, I kind of was a little bit in shock of what had been said and just the appropriateness of it. And I asked Mr. Chamberlain after the meeting, did I hear what I heard? And he said, yes, you did. So that was that event. After that meeting, I did talk to the council president about it, about the fact that I didn't think that it was appropriate, and I shouldn't have to deal with that. I made an appointment at that time with our current HR person. I just sent an email that I would like to have a phone conversation about it. I felt like up to that point, there were things that had been said that I would respond with, that's not appropriate, or Harold, you can't say that. And this event kind of was a turning point for me and how I was handling things in that area, because I realized it wasn't my job to teach him what was or was not appropriate. And so I passed it on to HR because I felt like it was a serious liability. I was not an employee, I was an elected official, so it was not the same. He and I were on the same plane, so to speak, but I felt like this was kind of a wake-up call to me that it was a serious problem.
Were there any other interactions while working with council that you had with Mr. Stickley?
I mean, I could make a list. Most of them I just kind of brushed off. I know the one that is listed in the letter was the time we came in for committee of the whole. The thermostat was cranked up, and Mr. Stickley said, is it just hot because you're here? So there were lots of times, I mean, these were things that I could handle or respond with, that's not appropriate, or I did not welcome these things. I did not think it was funny at any time, but I could make a list of those issues. I felt like the conversation that I complained, that was my one and only complaint to HR, because I just felt like there was no question if he didn't realize the inappropriateness of this, that I couldn't make him understand.
Okay. I have no further questions. Mr. Stickley, do you have any questions for?
Yeah, none of that ever happened.
You can state your own things in your time.
Can I say it now?
No, you can ask questions of the witnesses, and then later you can speak.
Really?
Yes, really.
You know, wasn't it that Shane Chamberlain asked me if I heard a good joke lately?
I have no idea what other things were said. I stated what I heard at that time. I don't know what other advice you gave him.
And I gave
But
you, and I said
you
your
told him
name.
to call my name out when he's
Mm.
having sex with his
You
wife.
never do that. Never do that. Never do that.
Was there a time on the elevator that I rode up a floor with Mr. Schneider because we were chit-chatting, and I went up one floor and the door opened and you said, what, are you guys having an affair?
No, I never said that.
These are things that
I never said
are
that.
witnessed by other members. Mr. Schneider, did he say that?
Yes. Why don't we just vote so I can get out of here? Because none of this is true.
The last thing that I would like to do is to be here on a camera saying
You know,
something so
here,
ridiculous.
sir.
So
Right there's
it
your
was
name.
not made up.
There's your name. You're gonna be here pretty soon. Leave it there. Why would you do that, Shane?
Because she's not a member of council right now.
It's been there ever since I was elected.
It was never on display.
You know why? Because I put it right there. But my name somewhere has never been on display for a month. And I was president of council.
Mr. Stickley, do you have any questions for this
No,
witness?
go sit down. I'll put my hat up here for display. How's that?
I would next call for questions from Jamie Jaguar. You can stay there or go out there at your choice.
Okay.
You can raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon the pain and penalty of perjury?
I do.
Can you state your name for the record?
Jamie Jaguar.
And what's your position within the city of Wauseon?
I'm the finance director.
Okay, do you know Mr. Stickley?
I do.
Can you tell me how you know Mr. Stickley?
I know him as a councilman in our working relationship.
Okay. I'm going to take you to the fall of 2024, that time frame. Did you have any interactions with Mr. Stickley that you felt were inappropriate?
I did. I was sitting here next to the other department heads, and he walked up behind and said, he had noticed that I had been losing weight because my clothes were fitting me differently. And that day, I know I was wearing a baggy pair of jeans, and so it felt like he was addressing the lower part of my body. So it made me uncomfortable. But it didn't happen just that one time. He actually said it to me twice, a second time, not the same day. So yeah, so I was uncomfortable with those comments.
Okay. No, Mr. Stickley, do you have any questions?
So, who was sitting next to you at the time?
Kevin and Phil were sitting next to me.
Keith Torbett was sitting next to you. And I was talking to Keith Torbett. And Keith said to you, true statement, how's the diet going? And you answered very well. And I said, if you got a diet, I would really like to have one, because God knows I could lose some weight. Is that not true?
You possibly could have said that.
I did say that.
But you also made the comments about my body.
No, I
You
did
didn't
not.
make any comments about my body.
I don't care about your body, personally. So sorry. You can make up stories all you want. But I was talking to Keith Torbett, actually about a situation that is still here, and that's the,
I am not making up those comments. I have fellow witnesses that.
I can just tell you what
corroborated
I
as
was
well.
talking to Keith, was not talking to you.
You said those things to me.
Keith asked you the question, how's the diet going? You recall that?
No, I do not.
No, that's the truth. And I said, if you have a diet, let me know, because God knows I could lose some weight.
And you commented about the way that my clothes were fitting.
No, I don't care about how your clothes are, Jamie. Sorry.
I
Go ahead.
did witness that interaction.
Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I call for Michelle Wing, please? You can raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help your God, or under the pain and penalty of perjury?
I do.
Can you state your name and what your position for Wauseon is?
My name is Michelle Wing. I am the contract HR officer for the city of Wauseon.
Okay. And in this position, have you got the opportunity to meet Mr. Stickley?
I have met him a few times at staff meetings, yes.
Okay. I'm going to take you to January of 2025.
Okay.
Did you take a complaint from an employee by the name of Hannah?
Yes, I did.
Pass that to Mr. Stickley. Mr. Stickley, that's what she's going to be looking at.
Oh, thanks.
I've handed Mr. Stickley what I'm going to call Exhibit A. Do you have that in front of you?
I do.
What is that?
This is my report, or my report from the conversation I had with Hannah. Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. An employee came to me today to report a conversation with Council President Harold Stickley that made her feel uncomfortable. Harold inquired with another employee who has not been identified as to why there was a coat over the window on her office door. The unnamed employee stated that Hannah used her office to change to go on runs. Harold then asked Hannah twice about it, as if she were using her office to change in. The employee answered no. The employee asked who he spoke with, and he didn't know. He asked if she used the turnout gear for EMS runs. The questioning made the employee feel uncomfortable and was not professional or relevant. The employee also recalls that Harold touched her face a couple of weeks before that, stating that his hands were cold. The employee stated that on one previous occasion, Harold came up behind this employee with the intention of scaring her and put his hands on her waist. She let him know at that time that she did not appreciate him touching her, and he did avoid her for some time after that incident. And then furthermore, the employee stated that often when having a conversation with Harold, Harold continues to close the space between the employee and himself, causing the employee to back up until she feels like she's backed into the corner. The employee feels that her personal space is being invaded.
When you took this complaint, what did you do next?
I next did an investigation, as we would often do anytime you receive a complaint of this nature. And so we talked to other employees that were witnesses at that time.
Okay, and did the complaints that were raised cause you to issue a report to the city?
Yes, so after that investigation finished, I did write a letter to the mayor letting her know my findings from that investigation.
I think before you have a copy of what
I
appeared to be
do.
a letter?
Yeah, I do.
Is that the letter you're referencing?
Yes.
And what were your findings after your investigation?
My findings were that there were other complaints that didn't always make the file or hadn't always been acted upon, but there were many complaints and many times that people, employees of the city, either felt violated or uncomfortable from interactions with Mr. Stickley.
Now, Mr. Stickley was at that time, and now again is an elected official, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
He was council president at that time.
Okay. If you were an employee of the city at that time, can you explain what process would be in front of them?
As a an employee of the city of Wauseon, after an investigation, if it was found to be substantiated, we would have likely moved right to termination. We wouldn't be 1 year later still having these conversations.
And did you find that the allegations were substantiated from your point of view?
I did.
Mr. Stickley, any questions?
Sure. So you have written, signed documents from Hannah?
I met with her personally and had her approval on
No,
the
I asked you a
information.
question. You have written documents by Hannah of this?
Where
Yes or
she
no? Yes or no?
hand wrote it and signed it, what difference would that make?
Because you can be just making this up. Do you have written documents?
She sat in my office and cried. I watched her with my own eyes.
So you know
And there
who
were
the-
other witnesses who
you
were
know
in
who
this
the-
room
you know
who seen those interactions.
Do you know who the person was that I asked about why the fire code is on the door?
Assistant Chief Jeremy
I
Shirkey
did.
was standing
And you know what he
there.
said? That's so everybody wants to go over there and look. Well, that's kind of kinky, I said. And Hannah asked me once, when I was 20 years old, what did a master sergeant, a boom operator, tell me off the coast of Vietnam? I said, he put his hand on my shoulder. I said, can I put my hand on your shoulder? And she said, yes. And he put a hand on my shoulder and said, if you see a bright light and you feel a lot of heat, you know you're dead. And that's what I told Hannah. And that is the only time I ever touched Hannah on her shoulder, just like that. Because she said I could.
And that's not in her complaint.
As long as you got written documents, no problem. Did you and I ever have a problem?
Nope, I've only seen you on a few occasions and we did not.
We never had a problem, did
And I
we?
would never expect to have a problem, nope.
Exactly. That's all I got.
Thank you.
you.
I'm going to call Jeremy Shirkey next. Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pain and penalty of perjury.
I do.
Can you state your name for the record?
My name is Jeremy Shirkey, Assistant Chief of the Wauseon Fire Department.
Okay, and in that position, did you get to know Mr. Harold Stickley, excuse me?
Yes, he was the councilman,
I'm
council
gonna
president
take-
probably too.
I apologize. I take you to January of 2025. You just heard some information on a back and forth between Mr. Stickley and Hannah. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me what you witnessed?
I witnessed, Harold did ask me that question, and the reason for the coat was to, when she changed to go to calls, she had that coat there. But he kept asking her more questions. She was very uncomfortable at that time. And as he kept asking her questions, she kept backing away. He kept going towards the door, and that's when I shut the door. And she said I had enough.
Okay. Did Mr. Stickley ask about anyone else changing their offices?
No,
Just Hannah?
just Hannah.
Okay. Mr. Stickley, do you have any questions?
Sure. So you and I was talking and Hannah's door was closed.
Hannah's door was open when we were
No,
talking.
it was closed. And I asked you, why is the fire coat hanging at the door? And you stated that to go on fire calls. I said, oh, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. So where this others is I don't know.
That wasn't the end, because the door was open and she
No,
heard
it
you and
wasn't.
you
It
kept
was
asking her
shut when
questions.
I asked you why. And you laughed and said, because Hannah changes clothes in there. And I said, okay. So I don't know where you're making this rest of this stuff up. But that's the way you are. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call Chief Phil Kessler, please. Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under the pain and penalty of perjury?
I do.
Can you state your name and position within the city of Wauseon, please?
Phil Kessler, Fire Chief, City of Wauseon.
Do you know Mr. Stickley?
I do.
Can you tell me how you know Mr. Stickley?
He was on City Council and he was City Council President up until he resigned.
Okay. On February 2nd of 2025, were you present in council chambers for a meeting, to your best of your recollection?
I was.
Okay. What kind of meeting was that?
If we're talking about, I believe it was Council of the Whole,
Okay. Was Mr. Stickley present?
I believe so, yes.
Do you recall where Mr. Stickley discussed the hiring of females?
Yes. So just before the meeting had started, everybody was in the room, councilperson-wise, and it was right about the time that the Swanton Fire Chief had made the news for getting in trouble over in Swanton for having relations with one of his employees. And Mr. Stickley had turned around and asked me, do we have any policies in place to prevent that from happening to me? And I was kind of like taken aback, you know, even if and I replied, yes. I said, I don't know what they are verbatim, but even if we didn't, there are laws against that stuff, you know, state and federal, and best practice.
Okay. And after you stated that, do you recall what Mr. Stickley might have said?
So then that opens up this conversation where he starts going into his days of Vietnam and where he couldn't hire women in his shop because back then, you know, he wouldn't be able to control himself. But even back then in the, I don't know what you call foxholes or whatever, the individuals would be unable to stop themselves.
Going to play a recording if we can get that working.
Gray and it gets yellow, and I'm like, that's gross. Yeah, it's just gross. Yeah, he's so fascinated. On way.
Okay.
That's gonna be loud, sorry.
It's okay.
See, that's why I feel I don't hire women in my shop. That way I don't have a problem having relationships.
Do you think it's a woman's fault? Is that what you're saying?
You don't have to be
I don't think you can do that, though. That's sexist.
There's federal guidelines on it. Discriminating with everybody. I'm looking out for the best interest of the crew. It was a good thing when I was in the Air Force to did not have female mechanics on the flight line. Half of the guys would be in trouble. I would know. Yeah, rather than walker and go off for 12 hours. Go after the facilities. Definitely changed the whole life.
Does that sound like the meeting you were discussing?
That's exactly the meeting, and the issue it was, what that was for me was, as an administrator, and hearing that from the elected official who approves the hiring, the firing, the discipline, the wage scales of the employees, the inappropriateness of it.
Okay, did I hear correctly that he said that he would not hire women in his own business? Did you recall him saying that?
That was said that day as well.
Okay. I'm gonna get you a copy of this. Chief, I've handed you what's going to be marked as Exhibit D. What is Exhibit D?
This was an incident report or an unusual occurrence report that I completed after witnessing an event that involved Mr. Stickley.
Can you explain what that event was to the best of your recollection?
All right, so I was sitting in my office, and as you sit in my office, my door is open. And outside of my office door sits the council clerk. In front of the council clerk is a glass window that she can slide open to address anybody that comes into the little common area out there. It's when I heard the Councilor Stickley on the outside of that glass window say the door is locked, and the door he is referring to is the door to the common area where we are located. And I could hear Corinne hit the electric buzzer to allow the door to unlock. As he walks through the door, I hear him ask, "Is Hannah in?" Hannah being the executive assistant. As quickly as I heard her name brought up, I stood up and I walked to my doorway and said, "No, she's not." And it was at that time, Mr. Stickley then sits in a chair that's next to what was Corinne's desk at the time. At that point, I had reached out to Hannah and asked her where she was at, because she wasn't in yet. And I had asked her to delay her response to coming in because she feels uncomfortable around him from the previous events that occurred. And every time one of those events took place, starting with the hand, she told me about it. It was discussed with HR, documented. The hands around the hip, she told me about it. She was asked to talk to HR, but as she's telling me about it, the zoning inspector was there and acknowledged the event happened. Okay. On this particular day, as soon as I had indicated to Hannah not to come in, I had followed up with the mayor. I had followed up with HR and said, this needs to stop. And we had met at that point. It's hard enough coming into work, let alone having to feel like you have to protect your employees from individuals. And in regards to sitting here up to this point in this conversation, I did watch Jamie walk in with her backpack on one morning, and the comment was, "Hey, have you lost some weight? Because you look a lot skinnier in those pants." And the day that, the evening that Sarah sat down over there, I was sitting over here wasn't eavesdropping, but it's not normal to see a grown adult stick their fingers in their ear and go, ah, and then the topic came out. Those events happened. So,
Mr. Stickley?
That's a really great story, you tell. Do you remember the staff meeting when you blew up sitting over there to me about driving ambulances and fire trucks through the doors because your generator didn't run? You remember that?
I remember discussing the topic of the generator not running. I guess I don't know the context of driving a fire truck or an ambulance through the door, but
It's
I don't know
amazing,
if-
Phil, because
I
you
don't know
remember
of any-
everything else.
Are you gonna let me finish? I don't know of any blow-up, okay?
No.
But if this is the same meeting in which you stood up and said, I gotta go to the bathroom, you walked down the hall, I'm sure you did go to the bathroom, but then you stopped in the kitchen and you trash-talked me and the organization, okay?
No.
Okay. And then you came back down. So,
The mayor was there at this meeting when you blew up
okay,
about the doors and the generator not running. And it was $1,000 you wanted to pay to have the generator repaired, and it was brand new. Never ran. And you was angry, angry, angry. And you even said to the mayor, who's in charge of this building?
right.
And you said, I'm in charge. And actually, the mayor told Keith Torbett, sitting here, he was in charge of the building. And ever since that time, sir, you and I have clashed. And I told you once, you want toys, that was $500 right there that we granted you with that, out of council chamber when I was president. We have a $1,000 in the council. You wanted $500 from us, we said, okay. And then you wanted more toys. And I said to you, Phil, aren't you ever satisfied? You're like a child in a candy store. And since that time, you and I have never got along. This is a fantastic story you're made of.
Okay.
You know, because none of this ever happened. When did you move upstairs and the mayor moved downstairs?
I don't know the date,
Well, you know all these other dates, sir. Why don't you know that date?
because it's irrelevant to this
It's
conversation.
yeah. The only thing that's relevant is to hang a noose around my neck
No.
and change me.
So,
How many, wait a minute, how
No,
many?
I'm gonna interject here because.
No, I'm
we're
asking him a
We're
question.
getting off onto other agenda
how many-
besides
how many
charges, Harold.
How many
And
change?
you brought me in on this conversation and said my name, so I am going to say, yes, I was involved in that meeting. And if you wanted to refer back to that, it was the date that we have on file where you made the comment. So you did get up and leave, you did go
I had
to
to
the
go to the bathroom.
restroom, and that is fine. You were gone, and I timed that.
I was gone a while.
You were gone about 25 minutes.
No, I wasn't.
And we did have employees come back, it's on the video, we can give them that if you want, that you did stop in and you were saying those things.
No, I didn't
As
say-
far as the discussion with what you're referring to, yes, it did get heated. He didn't get heated at you, he was upset with Keith because decisions were not made at that time that should have been made, and we were having a problem with the generator and we needed to get it fixed, and that is why he asked about that. And that is where the conversation was.
So how many clerks of councils have resigned from this
Yeah.
city, sir, since I was not there after March? And you said right outside the door.
how irrelevant is that?
No, it's not. 2 clerk of councils have resigned, not because of me, because of you.
Oh,
You're entitled.
okay.
But let's get back to the generator.
Wait a minute. I do need to read this because what was read to these guys, to the audience, needs to also stand up here. And in Mr. Bomer's introduction to this process, the items being discussed relates to the matters that are not appropriate under these proceedings. Only matters relating to the facts, circumstances, and the notice are open for discussion. As such, please discontinue this line of getting off of the subject. The
Well, then
clerk
listen
is
now.
not under any kind of discussion here right now,
Then go sit
and neither
down.
is Phil.
So, council members, the generator. The generator was to be purchased just before COVID. It was paused because of COVID. After COVID, it was brought back up because the current generator at the time is located within the fire department. Always has been, inside, maintained with the fire department. And the last time we had maintained the old one, the city mechanic said, it's time to replace it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's got parts from the 60s. We're in 2020s. Fast forward, it's installed. At no point did Keith Torbett or Mr. Stickley have anything to do with pulling the request to purchase, bringing it to council, seeking the approval, maintaining it through the installation, or maintaining it to where we're at now. Okay? The conversation he's talking about is we did have an issue with it. And neither one of those two knew what they were talking about because there was two contracts being discussed. They were arguing about one when I'm trying to get the other one discussed. Okay.
Okay.
So, that's all you have. I'll go sit down.
I went to the bathroom and I talked to a person's son that works for the fire department. He's a captain. And Shifty Schaffner worked for me for years. And I've known Brady forever since he's been a little boy. So afterwards, they was eating. So I went over for a few minutes and said, how you doing, Brady? And that was about it. And I wasn't gone 25 minutes because the whole meeting don't even last 25 minutes up here. So you're exaggerating. Sorry.
It's on tape.
So go sit down.
Are you done, Mr. Stickley?
I'm done.
Okay, you can step down. Mr. Stickley, we've reached that point in this process where you can call witnesses relating to the incidents discussed today, where you yourself can testify. All of that would have to be done under oath.
You know, Bob, I've already said everything I wanted to say. All I want to do is have my fellow council members either say yay or nay. I either stay or leave. I don't really care.
Okay. With all testimony now complete, the matter is ready for a motion, if any. The motion would be to remove Councilman Harold Stickley for cause under Wauseon Charter, Section 11.01. Madam Mayor, back to you.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna need a motion from council on this matter for Wauseon Charter Section 11.01. We'll need a first and a second, and we'll need a roll call of each council member, except for Council Member Stickley.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilor Galbraith to remove Councilor Stickley under Wauseon Charter Section 11.01, seconded by Councilor Simon. Councilor Galbraith,
Yes.
Councilor Simon,
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain,
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena,
Yes.
Councilor Snyder.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
I apologize, we didn't get that chance for any discussion on, if anybody had any discussion. Jan?
Okay.
If anybody in council would like discussion before, I know it went through, but if anybody has anything else to say from council,
I have no discussion.
Shane? Jeremy?
I'm going to say that this decision was not made lightly. I went back and forth, and there was things that I wasn't aware of, even from when you resigned. I don't think it was mentioned in detail of the allegations. And so I was going back and forth, and so it was a hard decision, but I think for transparency and accountability and things like that, that's what weighed my decision towards a yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. About the discussion.
Alrighty, so Jan, finish up with the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Counselor Gilbreth, seconded by Counselor Slyman, with a brief discussion by Counselor Tiarena that the decision was not made lightly. And we had a vote of 5 yeas and 0 nays, so more than 3/4.
Okay,
Now we need a motion to come out of public hearing?
yes.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to close the public hearing made by Council President Chamberlain, seconded by Councilor Schneider. Any further discussion? Councilor Chamberlain,
Yes.
Councilor Schneider,
Yes.
Councilor Gilbreth,
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena,
Yes.
Councilor Simon.
Yes.
Okay, he's been removed, and we're going to move on with our meeting. And
Can I have 5 minutes?
you had your minutes during the hearing, Harold.
Okay.
Now we're into
Well,
council.
you know what? I'm glad you guys overturned the November 4th election. I'm sure all the voters of Wauseon will congratulate all you, ladies and gentlemen, of overturning the election. And Sarah, you can come back and sit down now. Goodbye. I'll see you guys in court.
Okay.
Commissioner Service.
Thank you, Bob. Council back there? Come on up. We're going to move forward in our council meeting. Council, you've had time to approve your committee of the whole minutes and prior meeting minutes. Can we get a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion. Can you guys keep it down out there, please? We're in the meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Simon to approve the prior minutes, seconded by Counselor Galbraith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We do have one person wishing to attend, address council. Kevin, would you like to come up yet?
Oh, yeah, I just, very quickly, it's a bit late now, but, so I appreciate you guys getting together and allowing, public forum here for members of the city. That I come from kind of an empathetic, this is a bit late here, because I thought we were going to be able to discuss something before you
Kind of
voted.
waived you guys' chances.
What's that?
When he said he didn't want anybody
He
from
didn't?
the
Okay,
audience.
that's fair. But I'm kind of in an empathetic standpoint here because I don't know what it's like to be a member of city council. I've tried, but that hasn't worked out. But I'm also empathetic to Harold because I don't know what it's like. And here I guess the bottom line. What Harold said is very, very, that is something that to me is just not right. That we are that we have elected him, we're taking him out of office. My question is, we're going back 3 years now with the first accusation. Then we've got another one in 24, we've got one in 25, and now we're hearing this, that, he said, etc. So why wasn't it brought up prior to the election? Why wasn't the public informed of these sorts of things? Because all of a sudden it seemed like right after the election, it was the Village Reporter, it was Northwest Signal, it was Facebook, it's this. I've heard you know, just terrible. And I've known Harold, and I'm not here on Harold's behalf. I'm just here as a concerned citizen and as a taxpayer. I just, and no one can answer that. And I talk to, in any given day, 100, 200 people with what I do, and everyone says, what's going on with the city council? What's going on with Harold? The optics, and I'm just being, because I know you, Kathy. I know most of you, but I probably know, you know, Kathy as well as anybody, Jeremy, etc. The optics here look terrible, guys. This looks terrible. The thing is when you're hired or you're brought in to city council, you're duly elected. Your responsibility, first of all, is to take care of your constituents and there are a lot of times where, you know what, you may not think that this is the right thing to do, or this is something that I've got to be right on. I've got to be no matter what. But then at the end of the day, you should do what's right, okay? Now, with all the accusations here against Harold, I'm not dismissing any of that. I know nothing about it. I saw what I saw. I'm just getting to the point to where you need to be stewards, good stewards of the taxpayers' money. Now, with that being said, we brought in outside counsel, okay? With that, there are some assistants. With this, we know that Harold is going to be filing a lawsuit against the city for defamation of character, for probably any other thing down the line. And guess what? You can sue anyone for anything, bottom line. I don't know how many of you have been through really big lawsuits. I have in my life. And the thing is, I would do anything, and I'm talking from a corporate standpoint, but you've got depositions, you have discovery, you have subpoena. They can subpoena your bank records. They can just, and it's all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're fully clothed. Oh, I'm here in my underwear because everyone gets to see everything about me. And I don't understand why we didn't bring this to arbitration of some sort. Have an arbitrator come and go, look, if Harold is the way that is alleged here, that's not good, okay? However, why, that's it. Why didn't we do something before the election so we didn't have to go through this process? This looks really, really bad. That's all I'm saying, and I thank you for your time.
Can I answer your question?
Sure.
I really would like to.
Certainly,
There
because
is
it's a lot of...
There is. There's a big, huge misconception that we just sat on this, and that is not true.
Okay.
We did exactly what you heard tonight. Council confronted Harold. The complaints came through the process. In government, you have process.
Certainly.
You don't just get to go and you have to go through the process.
Sure.
And that is exactly what we did, and we made sure we did it correctly, not only fair to those who were complaining, but also fair to the elected official per our charter. When that happened, the one thing we did out of behalf of Harold is took it into an executive session. Should not have done that. Public should always know what's happening. Let me finish.
Okay.
In that session, every one of the council members, everybody was in there, he resigned. Okay? He can put whatever reason he wants for resigning, personal reasons, and that is exactly what he did in March when he was confronted. And we were told by him, and every one of us heard it, that he would withdraw his name from the election. That's what we were told. We believed him that he would do that. He no longer is a member, okay? And he said he would withdraw his name out of there. He had till August.
Okay, so my question is that if that was said, I understand where you're coming from. However, Harold, from his perspective, when I talked to him, he said he didn't say that. Now, and I understand, okay.
If he wouldn't have said it, we would have.
Well, then why? If I mean,
voted him off then.
Okay, but he had 50 signatures, okay, and as we all have had to do, he had 50 signatures, and then the election comes. So you assumed that because he told you that he was going to take his name? Did you call April? Is there, I mean, it's very
There's
difficult.
nothing we can do
Well,
about him.
I
He's the one
understand
who
that.
has to take his
So
name off.
why wasn't there any follow-up with him? Why wasn't
There
Harold?
was.
There was, and he said that he was still.
questioned him.
It's very difficult to remove your name off the ballot. It really is. You just can't haphazardly go out there and go, I wanna, I mean, look at presidential, on a presidential wise. When they tried to take, it is a nightmare. It
He
really.
had until August to be
Okay.
able to take it off.
But he
That
didn't.
we all-
He
no,
didn't.
He chose not to.
He chose not to. But no one followed up with that. Why was he allowed then? Because there weren't any signs. He didn't have any signs out. He did then send a mailer after the fact. And there are a lot of people that I've talked to that didn't even know that he was no longer on city council, that he had resigned, okay? He said one thing is another, but at the end of the day, this is a mistake. This, I'm not saying it's a mistake on your voting part. That is, you guys have the right to do what you want. I just think that everything leading up to it was mishandled. And the public, I'll tell you what, this is a terrible look for Wauseon. The city, so many voters are just, what is going on? Why can't we use our time and effort to better the city? Why can't we use the time and effort to do whatever it is that we need to do, okay? Rather than sit here and it's this reminded me, guys, of something that would happen in high school. This was ridiculous. I know that Harold didn't want to have a hearing. Now I know why he didn't want to have a hearing, because there's just so much speculation and I just don't understand it all.
But the people did not want to, the victims, they didn't want to sit through this hearing as well.
Oh, I am not
It's
discounting.
the only way that we can follow, to be fair to all of the employees plus the elected officials, is to have to follow this process. I would have loved to scream from the top of my lungs that he did this, but we couldn't, because he resigned. He
Okay.
was no longer an elected official, but council, if anybody of you would like, because they were the ones that have to make the vote. It wasn't my choice, it's theirs.
So
So I
the-
really would like them to address you a little bit, just so you can hear from theirs and not just
May
procedure.
I ask one question? Was
Yeah.
there any coercion on your part or any other members of council to, just for lack of a better term, gang up and say, hey, let's get this, we don't want this guy in here?
No,
Never?
absolutely not.
He had said he was going to take his name off, okay? And then tonight we sat here.
He said that in this council?
He said that
Absolutely.
in front of
Yes.
everybody.
So you have that on tape then?
That was
That's
in
during the executive session.
So one
That
of
was
the,
in the executive,
And
so
we
he
did that so that
Fair enough.
we
That-
didn't
I'm
want
not
it
here to, I just
exposed
want
then
information. I'm
to
not here
him.
to disagree.
it was out of,
Okay.
of respect for him.
Okay.
And that was, we should not have done that, and I will say that.
Should not have done what, I'm
Gone
sorry?
into executive.
Oh, during the, yeah,
It was just, we wanted, just like we do to all of our employees.
regarding the city charter in 11.01 or.
No, it
No,
was just-
no, it's
Yeah,
out of respect.
We wanted to protect Harold.
Right.
We wanted, out of respect for Harold, our intent was to take it into executive session, talk about the allegations, so it wouldn't embarrass him and his family.
Mhm.
And so we sort of felt as council, I mean, at least for myself, sort of felt bound by that discussion being off the public record. And that we were taking Harold at his word, that he would remove his name from the ballot. And he never did. And then just as one council member, Kevin, I could say, okay, he didn't remove his name from the ballot. The second thing I'm counting on is that the voting public wouldn't vote him back in because he quit.
Mhm.
Okay?
But and I understand where you're coming from.
And then-
The issue is here is just kind of getting the information out there, because
Right.
there was not that many people that even knew
Right.
that he had resigned.
Yes, and what we told Harold that we were gonna describe his reason for resignation as personal reasons,
Mhm.
out of respect to him.
Sure.
And we thought, out of respect to council, he would follow through with his word. And he didn't.
Mhm.
So we're still operating, we're trying to take the higher road, we're still operating as personal reasons.
Right.
We're not going into detail, because that's what we promised Harold. And then eventually we just realized, there has been so many times that we've tried to talk Harold through our city representatives out of having tonight happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand that you met this last week.
Tonight, Kevin, tonight was nothing We didn't want this.
I understand.
We have sent lawyer after lawyer to, hey, this is what the council's intentions are. Let's not do this. Step away.
When was the first letter that we sent to Harold? It was before November.
Right. Well,
It was,
The first letter was sent in November stating that he was elected, but
it was before he was sworn in.
Yes.
We sent him a letter saying
Yes.
this is what the council's intentions
but I
are.
thought we put something out even before.
That, you stated you were not gonna run, you did, you got elected, and now we're asking you to not take the seat, to avoid this.
Brandon,
So,
I think, I'm sorry.
Again, it's a matter of 6 people having to say, this is how we want it run.
Okay.
So,
Fair
go
enough.
ahead.
No, I think what Brandon is alluding to is when he was running and we had found out, we had discussed, what do we do? Do we send him a letter? How do we, cap this? And I think we were advised that we can't necessarily impact his running per se, based on everything that was in executive session, that was confidential,
That's
quiet.
right.
And so we said, you know what, we have to let, I mean, there was nothing, our hands were tied at that time. And so
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
was elected, that's when that letter was sent that said, hey, this is the process that will happen if.
And I appreciate all of that. I mean, is there any legal precedent to where this is, where we have, that in the state of Ohio, for example, where someone has been elected in November and then January or February, he's removed or she's removed, and without any sort of a due process other than what we have here in front of us? And I'm not being accusatory. I'm just an information gathering for me, because I've had so many questions and no one can answer them.
It
so.
must be my algorithm on social media, because on YouTube, public removal of elected official has been popping up.
Okay.
So it happens, very rare. I think this is the first time it's ever happened here.
It is,
So-
it is. One of the things I'm finding that a lot of the public removal of public officials is things that are happening outside. This actually happened within our walls. This is happening, during business hours per se. And it's just something that, like, the process, believe me, I've checked out the process.
Right.
We're doing exactly what the voters said should be done, to be fair. But then, if you go to a hearing, I'll see you in court. Okay, we can't stop this. He
Sure,
said he
of
wants
course, I
to
know,
go to
that's my
court.
point. You
And
can't.
we tried before, we tried in March of 2025 when, it was happening more. And honestly, we also had another candidate that was sitting on council that, she was part of it, and you heard from her
No, I
tonight.
did. I did.
So everything has to be fair. We can't, okay, well, we want her to speak, but you can't speak. We can't do that. So this is really what works. But then after that, I just found out that once the judge says something, yay or nay, it goes to the governor, and they have to agree to removal. So it is
Certainly.
a huge
I know.
process.
I know.
And this is small potatoes process before you go here and here.
Sure.
And unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of cost.
Oh, it is. It's a
But-
lot of cost, because we have an outside party that, and this is not, I mean, you are not obviously pursuing charges on him.
No.
Even though these individuals that have said that this happened, they could file some sort of a civil litigation or whatever the case is against him. That'd be incumbent upon them to pay. Secondly, but the city is, because of all of this, we do have to represent ourselves, and it has to be an outside counsel, correct?
It doesn't have to be outside counsel.
It doesn't, but it can't be you, is what I'm saying, because that's what you're paid to be our law director.
Representative.
No,
Then you
the reason I didn't participate was because our firm has done legal work in the
Sure,
past for
right,
us to
absolutely, and
stipulate.
yes, I understand that, okay.
See, I think too, nothing was done prior to the election, because we were all hoping that the election would go the other way so that we didn't have to go through this and put Harold through this.
Right.
But tonight, you heard how many people stand up there, and he said every one of them wasn't telling the truth. You know,
I
that's
get
kind
that,
of amazing.
I get that, Mr. Schneider, Councilman Schneider, but you were hoping that he wouldn't be elected. That's not good. If you're saying that you were hoping he wouldn't be elected, that means that there was other processes in place in order to get him out prior to this. So you hoping in one hand and in the other.
I'm not a Facebook person, okay? There's a lot of people that's the only thing they get nowadays. We don't have a local newspaper. We don't have a local
I
radio
know.
station.
I
So
think
a
it's-
lot of people are probably unaware of all of these events occurring. Now they will be. And some of them that may have voted for him may say, well, I wouldn't have voted for him had I known that. But what were we supposed to do? Stand out with placards in the street and say things? You know, we were just hoping
Then
that
we're
the election would go the other way so that.
Well, that
we never-
interference of election, that's not necessarily, I mean, that breaks down, there's different, I mean, it's not foreign, outside
It's
influence.
campaign of a council to sit there and say, don't vote for this man.
Well, I
This is,
wouldn't say
know,
that, you wouldn't say don't vote, for you could
That's
still
what I'm
bring it,
saying.
you could still bring some of these things
The
to
public has a
fruition.
right to do a public request for any information they want.
Okay.
And for us to have come forward, I probably screamed the loudest that we should. But again, if I would have done that, then I'm saying I don't want him in. And he is no longer a public official. He's a citizen now, and I'm saying City of Wauseon does not want this man because this is why we got rid of him. That is going against his campaign, and in all actuality, I look at it as we're telling the voters not to vote for him because of what happened. He resigned. He resigned for personal reasons.
Okay.
That's what the
Fair
voters
enough.
got.
Okay, I got my answers, I appreciate you all giving me the time. And,
Thank you.
okay, good luck,
Thank
thank you.
Brandon?
Can I ask a few questions? Sure. This is my first time being here, so I didn't know like if you had to.
Yeah,
It's
you
just,
sat a long time.
it's just a follow-up. I'm just curious, you know, I work in a private company, so an HR allegation as far as like sexual harassment goes, why a year and a half, 2-year process here? If I got called in for an allegation, it would be handled within a few days. And then I would be back to work, or I would be suspended, or a write-up, you know, whatever. And then if it happened again, you better believe I would be gone. So why is there such a delay in this process that now we're talking about a year and a half, 2 years later?
The unique feature to this is him being an elected official. That's what caused the delay. Michelle Wing, our HR contract, you know, her comment during our executive session, if this behavior is done by a city employee, they would be dismissed.
Sure.
So the unique feature is that he's an elected official. So that slowed the process down.
And you also, those who are making the complaint, they have to be willing to follow through with the complaint.
Which it sounded like a couple of them were.
At the end,
Right.
towards the end, that's where this all came together, because they were done with this. So we
Okay.
have to have that we had to have that information.
Right.
And a lot of this stuff, as you just said, we didn't know half of this was being brought up. And we've gone through a couple of, you know, HR people, and you know, the one that Sarah talked about when she finally did go, never went to fruition because she really didn't know if she wanted to go through with it or not. That one left, and then it just got worse, and that's how by
Right.
January of '25, there was a written complaint
Right.
moving forward.
Because, you know, who I really feel bad for are the people that have been dealing with this for a year and a half. I know you worked in mental health. Like, we're just re-victimizing these people over and over and over again.
But
Whether he did it or not, we don't know, but
We responded the way we were supposed to. It was whether they wanted to.
I'm not denying that
follow
you
through.
guys did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you did anything wrong. It's just the fact of the matter is, a year and a half later, we're dealing with this stuff. And now they're getting called to the floor to have to testify. A year and a half ago.
Unfortunately, you can't fire an elected official. There has to be a process.
I get you.
That happened tonight. And I think what everyone's trying to say is, it was, you know, something happened here, and I'm not trying to say that we tried to protect Harold, but in a sense it was correction to the point where nothing was changing.
Right.
And then that was when it came to the head in an executive session. I was on council, so I can't speak for what had happened during that time, but my understanding is that, you know, yes, I'll resign, I'll remove my name from the ballot, and hands washed.
Right.
We can say personal issues. We don't have to have anybody who's been victimized come and have to testify. We can just, everybody can move on. Everybody's
Right.
safe, everybody's protected. But that is not the route that Harold Stickley chose.
Sure.
Right? He continued with his election to the point where he even sent campaign letters,
Right.
right? So and I mean, here we are now.
Right.
So it's unfortunate because I know as council, there were several letters sent to him that said,
Right.
nobody wanted this.
No.
Nobody wanted to be in this
Right.
position with him. We
Yep.
I mean,
I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately, you guys kind of did protect him. And you guys, you did admit it a little bit, right? If I was Mrs. Heising, I'd be really upset. And that's just me, and again, I'm not saying that he's guilty or not, I wasn't there,
Right.
can't speak to it, right?
Right.
Just going off of what I heard, it doesn't sound good, right? So,
I think
it just,
I agree.
Well, at the time,
You
nobody
know.
wanted to file the charges, nobody wanted to come forward with a complaint. I think once the election went through, then that's when they started.
and that's where Kevin was speaking, the optics of that's where it really doesn't look good.
Right.
And we're gonna have some mud in our face going forward with the general public, and I mean, unfortunately, that's, you guys get paid the big bucks or small bucks to deal with that, you know, I mean, it's.
The victims that were coming forward
Sure,
in the public
sure,
and not us,
sure.
and that was something that
Right.
we tried to
Right,
express.
but again, as a victim,
Yeah.
they don't always wanna come forward, and we have to
Right,
understand
and
that,
that's
you
where
know.
we were at, yeah.
So-
And I think one of the
Because
big
you're
things.
dealing with an elected official, they
Sure.
don't want that
Right.
tagged for the rest of
Right.
their life.
Right,
One of the big things that happened too was we kind of recognized the need for a dedicated HR person.
Yeah.
So when that happened with Sarah, there was no dedicated HR. And
Right.
so we recognized it and said, we have to solve this problem. And that's when we brought in the contractor, Michelle.
Right.
And that's when everything really started to come to light because we had a dedicated person to that, to where we could
right.
resolve the issue, or at least we thought we could resolve the issue
Right.
back in March.
So, my last question, is there a better plan in place so that this can never happen again? Because I would hope that the general voting population and the citizens of Wauseon would want to know that this could never happen again.
One of the things that we actually implemented was each year we all take a course on sexual harassment, anti-bullying, and some other topics, and we complete it each year. We completed it last year, and this year we're going to be taking that again.
Try and do some internal training.
Another
Sure.
thing is our charter, we could, strengthen
Right.
our charter a little bit even more. The problem is, with elected officials, like she said, they're not employees.
Right.
But they make the same laws, they okay those policies and procedures. I feel that all elected officials, not just in Wauseon, should follow the same
Sure.
policy and procedure that they put in place for the employees. So it's very difficult
Right.
because it's an elected official. It's
Right.
so difficult to punish them.
Sure.
So that I am grateful that we
Understood.
had this process.
Right.
Because some cities and villages don't even have
It
that.
just shouldn't take this long. And again, not placing blame on the city. We shouldn't be dealing with this a year and a half later.
Well, the
It should be
comment
nipped in
that
the
was
bud real
in the
quick.
video,
You know.
and I said, you can't say that. I should have
Right.
reported that immediately.
Right.
And I didn't, so
Right.
that's on me,
Right.
that I did not report that immediately. But we were all sitting here, we're all telling them it's wrong.
Right.
Didn't matter.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like your hoodie.
All right, I think we're gonna move forward then. Let's see, committee reports. We have tree commission.
Tree commission.
How many-
Exciting meeting.
Yes.
Basically, we had the city in, with all the high winds that we had,
Yeah,
he just kind of confirmed that by what they're doing, by trimming the trees, keeping them healthy, there was minimal damage on that part. So they were pretty happy with that because there were some pretty good winds that shot through the whole area.
and then it froze all of
And-
anything that
yes.
fell is frozen. They can't even
Correct.
get it out of the parks. I keep looking at some of those like, need to come out.
And then they did talk about the Arbor Day on the 24th. I don't have my notes.
In Weir Park, it's gonna be a little
It's
different.
gonna be in Weir Park.
I
They're
like
gonna
that.
have like vendors there so people can get something to eat, drink. Then they're gonna talk about, different trees that you can plant in your yard for your area that thrive and whatnot. So
Mhm.
they're gonna have like an educational thing, so.
I like that idea a lot. I think
But,
that'll be great,
yeah.
especially in Weir Park.
Correct. But
So,
other than that,
any
there's
actions at all?
Nope, at this time, nothing.
All right, there was a joint Finance Utility Commission meeting, and who's going to speak on that one? Take your pick.
I'll just start off by saying, at the beginning of the meeting, we turned it over to Tom. Basically because he's been doing all the contact work with the other attorneys and EPA, and the problem is the EPA wants about $1.3 million worth of work done at the water treatment plant in the next year or so, and in about 5 years or 6 years, we want $10 million done, and we're trying to get them to say, forget the 1.3 if you commit to doing the 10 million. And that's the case that they've been in contact with the EPA trying to get approval to do that. That was the bulk of the committee. We even had people from water plant come in, what the costs are, what they're changing, what they're trying to do it. And they seem to think that we were optimistically going to be able to get rid of the 1.3 mil and just go with the 10 mil, which is going to be in 5 or 6 years, to be a big expense, but EPA requires it, we got to do it.
Yeah, because that 1.3 was just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much throwing the money away at that point.
So the recommendation that came out was just to authorize the administration, I think, to explore pursuing the GAC project with the EPA, not necessarily approving the program itself or the expenditures, but just to allow us to explore that with the EPA. And so at the end of the day, if EPA is on board and we head in that direction and there are contracts to be awarded and all that sort of thing, all that would come back to council for more detailed review. By way of update, we did have a conference call early this afternoon with myself and Ryan and Terry Finn, our environmental lawyer from Akron, and about 10 EPA persons on the call. And the long story short is that I think the call was favorable. We talked about possible financing from the finance side of the EPA of the screen, the 4 people that were on that issue, and then the enforcement folks seemed optimistic that if we can get a letter in place and propose a timeline along with some budget estimates, that they would be. It sounded like they would be inclined to approve that process. So I think the next step is for Terry and myself and Ryan to just sort of reconvene on what took place at that telephone call. And then also there was a proposal just that from Arcadis, that the engineering firm that Ryan had received very recently, which seemed to be very positive in terms of trying to being able to get things done quickly and in a cost-efficient manner. And so I think we're going to have a call with them, and then once we speak to them, probably put together some sort of letter with proposed deadlines to the EPA, with the end result being that the findings and orders that we're now under would be revised to allow us to proceed with the GAC project. So, long story short, the only recommendation is just very narrow right now. It's just to authorize us to proceed along the course that we're proceeding. We get to a point where we have something that's agreeable to the EPA and there's money, our budget been determined, then we bring that back to council for review and hopefully approval.
Okay.
Hope that made sense. It's been a lot happened in a short period of time, but I think overall it's a great thing, and it sounds like the EPA is going to be on board.
Which is good, that they're at least going to entertain that for us. Okay, so we do have, a motion was made in that meeting, so we need to accept the joint meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation from the joint meeting.
I'll second Brandon's motion.
Thank you, Shane.
You're welcome, Brandon.
I appreciate that, gentlemen.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilor Simon, seconded by Council President Chamberlain, to accept the recommendation of the Joint Finance Utility Commission meeting. Any further discussion? Councilor Simon?
Yes.
Councilor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith.
Yes.
Counselor Tiarena.
Yes.
And Counselor Schneider.
Yes.
At 5 yeas, 0 nays, motion is carried.
Okay, and then after that, we had the follow-up utility commission meeting talking about the water rates.
Yeah, we're gonna go right to department heads here. We're gonna talk about that.
Steady.
Go ahead.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Now, after the discussion on the EPA stuff, and not having a water rate increase in a while, it's all kind of coming into play where there was a graph, and Jamie can answer it better, that we're kind of toting that line of going downhill. So there was there's gonna be a recommendation, or at the end of the meeting, we recommended the water increase. So I believe it was a 5% the first year, and then 2% for
2031?
2031.
yes. So for
And this
5
is on the water only.
Just water only.
Not on the
Not
sewer.
sewer.
And only on the south side of the tracks, is that what we're talking about?
No.
Mainly
No.
Shane's house.
Yeah, in his neighborhood over there.
Yeah, I've seen their grass.
I'm on the north side.
So
Yeah, we're all right with that, aren't
we're
we?
looking at like the average water bill possibly being about $2
More.
Right.
$2
Right.
more, yeah.
And
On the 5%.
On the 5%, yeah.
5%, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And the 5% increase would be effective immediately, Jeremy? Is that the
As
recommendation?
soon as we can, yes.
It would
Okay.
begin on the March bill.
Yes.
So we need legislation in the next council meeting just to formalize that. But just to emphasize so the public understands, I mean, the reason for the 5% now is because of the EPA mandate that it either do the clear well aeration or this GAC approach. And Jamie, after the joint committee made the recommendation for us to pursue that with the EPA, she went back and ran the numbers, did the graph, and realized that would have to be, as part of the funding, the water rates would have to be increased to underwrite the cost of the EPA mandates.
So it's the EPA's fault, not ours.
I didn't want to say it that
Brandon.
way.
we
I
were
was trying to
getting
do it
down there.
before
Somebody's
Jamie.
gonna knock, Brandon, somebody's gonna knock on your door tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So we need a motion to accept the utility commission's meeting. Or, yeah, on
Recommendation.
129.
I'd make a motion to accept the utility committee's recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Chamberlain, seconded by Councilor Galbraith, to accept the recommendation of the Utility Commission to increase the water beginning in March at 5% and then afterwards at 2%. Any further discussion? Councilor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith?
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena?
Yes.
Councilor Simon?
Yes.
And Councilor Schneider?
yes.
At 5 yeas, 0 nay, motion has carried.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our department head reports. Chief Kessler.
Yeah, tonight, some of you were able to get here early. I appreciate that. We had the swearing in of Lucas Campbell. His family was here. It was neat to see his little girl.
That was really cute.
And him. And they continued on the festivities down the hall. Our ambulance that was in the crash at the time of the motorcycle convention this past summer, it's back, it's in-house. They're working on getting it back in service, so we should be seeing that on the road here very soon. We're happy about that. The vendor did a really good job of fixing it. And we continue battling the cold weather like everybody. We haven't had any significant issues, so knock on wood, we get through this next week, and hopefully, I don't care what the groundhog says, we see some warmth.
Yeah. Okay, any questions for the chief? Okay, Chief Chittenden.
I had mentioned at committee about the DARE class starting up in second grade. That's actually going to start tomorrow.
Oh, yay.
Way to get the schedule around. So Kathy Zonfeld will be starting teaching that tomorrow. It's once a week. I think it's for like 8 to 10 weeks, something like that. So she has experience with that. She'd done it up at Evergreen prior to, and so we're excited to bring that to Wauseon.
Is that every second grader, or is that an optional do or not?
No, that's every second
Okay,
grader.
good, good.
And then just this afternoon, Found out through a news bulletin, the governor announced the award recipients for the body camera grant, which we did get. It would be just over $18,000 for us this year in order for us to get new body cameras to replace our older ones that are kind of getting worn out, and they've reached the end of life where they're actually not repairing or replacing our old ones. So this will get us all outfitted with new ones, and we'll still be able to keep those current ones as like backups. So
Thank you to whoever did all of the work on that. That's great.
yeah, that was Becky. So she did a good job of getting that all filed in and for us.
So I saw you had a crew out there on Fulton Street when the pipes broke a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for blocking traffic.
We do what we can.
All right, any questions? All right, Jamie?
I don't have anything new to report. I did get the January month end completed, but I won't have those reports to you until the next meeting.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
Good. All right, then we're gonna hop to Tom.
So I talked long enough on the EPA stuff. I won't say anything more about that unless you got questions. I'm happy to go through all that again. But only thing I want to emphasize is that so on the legislation tonight, there's ordinance 2026-1, which I hopefully can get a signed and certified copy of that by tomorrow, so I can get that to the Board of Elections. So I don't know if Kathy and Shane need to sign that before they leave.
Yep.
And then the same thing with resolution 2026-3, which is the levy. So the first one is the ordinance, or has to do with revising the charter to create the Department of Building and Zoning, and the second one is just for the tax levy, make sure we get that on. So Jan, if I can just get a certified copy from you guys tomorrow, I can take that to the Board of Election. Other than that, that's really all I got to talk about.
Okay. Any questions for Tom? All right. Let's move on to legislation. Ordinance 2026-1 is an ordinance directing the city clerk to file a copy of proposed charter amendment for Tom, adding a new section 6.10 to create a Department of Building and Zoning for the placement by the Board of Education, or Board of Elections, on the ballot at the next regular scheduled election.
I'd make a motion on ordinance 2026-1.
I'll second.
This is an emergency as well.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Chamberlain to place ordinance 2026-1 on emergency, correct?
Yes.
And seconded by Councilor Simon. Any further discussion? Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Simon?
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith?
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena?
Yes.
And Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Final.
Second.
Okay, we have the ordinance 2026-1 placed on final reading by Councilor Schneider, seconded by Councilor Tiarena. Any further discussions? Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena?
Yes.
Council President Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith?
Yes.
Councilor Simon?
Yes.
Did you get everybody? 5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is carried.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2026-02, which is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Frederickson Engineering Services LLC for engineering services and declaring an emergency.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion for resolution 2026-1 to be placed on emergency by Councilor Tiarena, seconded by Councilor Galbraith. Any further discussion?
This is
two.
Oh, I'm sorry,
2026-02.
I'm sorry.
That's
Resolution 2026-02 placed on emergency by Councilor Tiarena, seconded by Councilor Galbraith. Any further discussion? Councilor Tiarena?
Yes.
Councilor Galbraith?
Yes.
Councilor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Councilor Simon?
Yes.
And Councilor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is carried.
Final.
Second.
Okay, I have placing resolution 2026-2 on final reading by Counselor Tiarena, seconded by Counselor Simon. Any further discussion? Counselor Tiarena?
Yes.
Counselor Simon?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith?
Yes.
Counselor Simon? Oh,
Yes.
and Schneider?
Schneider.
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is carried.
It's a gesture rule.
Yes.
Can't vote twice.
Can't vote twice. No, you can't wear two hats. Resolution 2026-3 is a resolution submitting to the electors of the city of Wauseon the question of an additional tax levy for parks and recreational purposes and declaring an emergency. This is the new levy, which is less than the old levy.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Counselor Schneider, seconded by Counselor Galbraith, to place Resolution 2026-3 on emergency. Any further discussion?
This is the pool,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the one that I think people need to understand. We aren't paying one this year, there's nothing, but then this new one will come on and it will be less than what it was before.
And it's not additional money.
It's not additional, it's
yeah,
actually
less than-
replacement, but it's less than what they're paying now.
It's
they were
it's a new
paying.
levy, but it
It's a
is,
new levy.
it is what we've been doing. Yeah.
Okay, Counselor Schneider,
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith.
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain.
Yes.
Counselor Tiarena,
Yes.
and Counselor Snyder.
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion's carried.
Final.
Second.
Okay, I have motion by Counselor Tiarena and seconded by Counselor Galbraith to place Resolution 2026-3 on final reading. Any further discussion? Counselor Tiarena?
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Simon?
Yes.
Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is carried.
Thank you. Resolution 2026-4 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids for the HI service valve system replacement at the water treatment plant. Authorizing the mayor to accept the lowest and best bid and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the lowest and best bid and declaring this an emergency.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2026-4 on emergency.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to place Resolution 2026-4 on emergency by Counselor Chamberlain, seconded by Counselor Simon. Any further discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Simon?
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith?
Yes.
Counselor Tiarena?
Yes.
And Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion has carried.
Final.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Counselor Simon and seconded by Counselor Galbraith to place Resolution 2026-4 on final reading. Any further discussion? Counselor Simon?
Yes.
Counselor Galbraith?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Tiarena?
Yes.
And Counselor Schneider?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion has carried.
And moving on, we have nothing under second reading or third reading. And under new business, do we have the list?
We do.
Okay.
Our interim clerk will distribute that list for council to take a peek at.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Jim.
Do you want to bring up any ideas yet? Or we usually don't
No, this
have
is-
those forward with
Thank you.
the-
Appreciate you.
So we're looking at page 2. Page 2 is the rollout for committee assignments. You'll see some, well, I came prepared for both outcomes tonight, guys. Page 1 is if Harold Stickley was still a member of council. Page 2 is if Harold Stickley is not a member of council. So page 2 is what's applicable. So page 2, there's some vacant positions. We'll fill those once we get our 6th member of council. And once we get that 6th member of council on, folks, there'll possibly some shuffling again, because you might see some folks have more committee work than others. Jeremy, I'm sorry. He's looking at me, I can feel it. Man, he was counting so fast. I know. So we just need a motion tonight to accept this slate of committee assignments. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'll make that
We
motion.
didn't make the cut here.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I have a motion by Counselor Tiarena to accept those assignments. Do I have a
Simon second.
Simon second.
Simon was all in favor of it.
Simon says yes.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion by Counselor Tiarena, seconded by Counselor Simon to accept as presented. Counselor Tiarena.
Yes.
Counselor Simon.
Yes.
Counselor Schneider.
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain.
Yes.
And Counselor Galbraith.
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion is carried.
Okay, anything else for new business?
Yeah, Mayor, while we're in new business, I wanted to present to council members the idea of moving forward with our vacant position so we can act quickly. I'm just going to make a motion, and then Jan's going to ask us for any discussion, and we can have good discussion. But I'm going to make a motion that we offer the vacant seat to Sarah Heising. She finished 4th in the recent election, and also my motion would include, if Sarah were to pass, that I then offer it to Kevin Height, who finished 5th in the recent election. That's
Is that
the
how
motion.
do you say just appoint, right? They can just appoint, so yeah, okay. I need a second from.
I
I'll
do.
second.
Okay, I have a motion by Council President Chamberlain, seconded by Councilor Galbraith to offer the vacant position to Sarah Heising, who came in 4th. And then if she accepts, okay, if not, then offer it to Kevin Height. Any further discussion?
I do. I think Sarah was great on council. I think the optics, how I'm not super comfortable pushing her in right now due to everything that's happened. I loved her being on council with her. She helped me a lot at the beginning, so it stinks that I'm even saying
That's
any of
incredibly
this.
victim blaming. I'm just gonna state that outright, saying I don't want you back here because of what it's gonna look like on the city, because you've been a victim of this, so let's distance. That's my personal opinion. I think that's straight
I
victim
think
blaming, and I don't think
that's a different
okay.
perspective of what I'm saying, though, Heather. So what I'm saying is how.
But we're still
Harold-
doing it logically, because if you look at the outcome of the race,
I don't think we have a choice.
she would have been next.
I
So
think
it's not,
Is it not the rules that if one,
No, that's
the
not
next
the
in
rules.
line?
No.
No, that's
Council
not.
just,
Okay.
yeah, the rule of the charter is just
appoint.
very vague,
Okay.
that the council can then decide. or
I thought it just went to the
obtain it.
next.
that's
Yeah,
what I
I'm
said
not.
as well.
I'm not trying to say any of that, Heather. So I don't want to paint that picture on me. What I'm just saying is, it seems, I don't want it to be like, because Harold made a big spectacle of, well, here, put this back up here, and her name tag was still there and everything else. And so it's, what I don't want to do is make it look like we kicked him out, and now we get to decide who goes in, and we wanted Sarah, so we're putting Sarah. That's my only hesitation. And I'm not going to say that I'm voting yes or no.
Right.
I'm just having discussion.
No, my motion was with no dialogue with any of you before making it. So I anticipated good discussion. And in past, we would submit a position announcement to public. We would accept applications for interested parties to fill that seat. In this situation, I just feel, since we had a recent election, the voters selected Sarah as 4th, that she would be the next. And that, or if this motion isn't successful, then we go with what we've done in the past, and we send out a public notice and accept applications and go through the interview process. So this is just option A. Option B always exists.
Right.
And Sarah is going to have the opportunity to say I pass or I don't.
Yeah, and Sarah did a phenomenal job being on council. I think she added value to it.
There's no way I'm not offering it to Sarah based upon her being a victim, though. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I just thought it was the next one down the line, so.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, she, I mean, I just think it's the right thing to do.
Now, how long before this other takes effect through the state?
I mean, I don't know how long, if we can even put, we can put somebody on, because you voted Harold off. I mean, I know when I ran years ago for mayor and I lost, I came back and tried to get on council and I didn't, you know, and I understand what he's saying, but in all actuality, the numbers were so severely close in the election.
Right. Yeah.
And the public is saying, you guys should have let us know. And here he's bringing up the fact that she was so close. I mean, that's just something, the election was not even, what, 2 months ago?
Right.
And there was 10 votes between 3
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, like,
or 4 people, actually.
Yeah, it's this council decision. I like saying that.
I mean, the voting results, while we were sitting here, I looked back on the election results. 673 was first, 591 was second, 585 was third, and 580 was fourth. Fifth was 579.
Yeah. It's very close.
You go with the voice of the people.
Yes,
Yeah.
and what we heard today was that some folks are going to look negatively upon our decision to remove elected official. Here they spoke. They put Sarah as fourth. I think she needs to be offered the seat. So
I enjoy that you have it in this public meeting so that the public is aware of the discussion and everything else.
And the mechanics of this, Tom,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the mechanics of this is if Harold follows through, appeals to a higher court or a higher authority, and that the higher authority says, you know, council got it wrong, he's back, we're going to appoint somebody, and then Harold comes back, that person could be removed, and
Yep.
Harold take that seat back.
Just,
That's the
stand down.
mechanics. So
Yeah.
the public, we're letting you know there could be some, depending on this higher court or a higher authority's decision, there could be some movement here that none of us are looking forward to, but might be an end result.
yeah.
And if that were to happen, I think the charter's clear that the legislation that's passed, the business of the city is not affected.
Right.
So it's not as if you have to unwind the decisions that were made by council prior to, following the time the one councilor was removed.
Well, there's a motion on the
Yep,
floor.
we have a motion by Council President
Yes.
Chamberlain, seconded by Councilor Galbraith, to offer the vacancy to Sarah Heising. After the discussion, Council President Chamberlain.
Yes, again, just to clarify, first option, I'll reach out to Sarah. If she passes, then I'm reaching out to Kevin. If he passes, then we're gonna just post it to the public.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Councilor Galbraith.
Yes.
Councilor Schneider.
Yes.
Councilor Tiarena.
Yes.
And Councilor Simon.
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays, motion is carried.
Okay, last is,
Oh, one other thing.
Oh,
Sorry, Mayor. I've had a front row seat to this whole process, and one thing is just, I'm having a difficult time building a bridge on it, and Harold Stickley making a comment to Chief Kessler as to he being the reason why we've had some turnover at the clerk position. I've had a front row seat to this, and that is completely false, completely inaccurate, and I just want to say that Chief Kessler, as far as I know, and I've been the council president since Harold has stepped away, has had nothing to do with any clerk leaving the city. I'd just like to state that for a record, okay? All right, thanks, Mayor.
very nice. And to follow up with that, I just wanted to tell council, this has not been easy. This is, like we've been saying, uncharted territory for all of us. But, you know, this is one of the reasons that you're sitting in this chair. You want to make good decisions for your community. And for that, I just want to say thank you for taking all of this going on. Good, bad, or indifference. You sitting in that seat is not an easy job. And for that, I just want to thank each one of you for doing that, and administration. And with that, we need to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilor Snyder, seconded by Councilor Simon to pay the bills. Any further discussion? All in favor? Can I do it all in
Aye,
favor?
yeah, let's do that, Jan. It's late enough.
Let's go home. We get a motion to go.
Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, go ahead, Mayor.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Tiarena. Who's going to second it?
I will second it.
All right, seconded by Counselor Galbraith. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Turn the lights out if you oppose.